Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the invitation. I don't intend to make a long speech. I'd like to, of course, acknowledge Virginia Dawson and the members from the New Zealand High Commission, Bengali representatives, the members of the trustees, I should say, of Koroipita. Everybody commonly knows this site as Koroipita, as opposed to the model town. And of course, all the guests, residents that live in here, and of course, all the guests. I do not intend to make a long speech, but essentially to highlight to you under the Fijian Constitution, there is a right to housing. The right to housing, of course, has to be contextualized within the means that government has. And what we have been doing with the past few years, and I've got the figures here, in 2019-2020 financial year, we contributed $980,000 for the land acquisition of K4 and construction of 10 houses for K3. 2020-2021, $500,000. That amount was reduced because of COVID-19, because you know that government revenues were halved overnight. But notwithstanding that, we still contributed towards Koroipita for the construction of 12 houses in K3 and civil works and construction of houses for K4. And then, of course, as the economy is bounced back in 2021-2022 financial year, we've contributed slowly $450,000, civil works and construction of 12 houses in K4. And then this financial year, 22-2023, we've contributed $2.18 million. For the first quarter, we've already disbursed about $507,000. Civil works, as has been highlighted earlier on, for K4, and also land acquisition for K5. Every citizen in Fiji has the right to live with dignity. And living with dignity means there's certain fundamentals that need to be fulfilled. That is, people need to be able to eat. People need to have a roof over their head. People need to have security, some form of certainty over their lives. And of course, jobs is critically important in all of that. Housing, for a number of decades in Fiji, really has been quite neglected. And so what we've tried to do is have a couple of fronts open for housing. In other words, we are now collaborating with the New Zealand government over here, where we're building these types of homes. We have a housing grant now for those people who earn up to $50,000 if they get a loan from the bank. And we contribute $30,000 grant if they're building their first home. It's a grant, you don't have to pay us back. If you're buying your first home, you earn less than $50,000, we contribute $15,000. If you earn more than 50, up to 100,000, we give $15,000 and $5,000. All of that is a grant. We work, of course, with various other organizations to ensure that people have access to housing. We are currently working with Housing Authority and working with IFC to have more subdivisions where we can work with the private sector to provide what we call strata housing. People with low income levels, people with middle income levels, because we need to increase the stockpile of homes in Fiji. That is critically important. When people have homes, as I said, they have dignity, they have a sense of self-worth, and those who actually own homes are able to then use those properties to go and mortgage, to acquire more finance, or to be able to move ahead in life. I have also been to that poll, and I remember the last time I was here, I was with Peter Drysdale, and again I'd like to acknowledge Peter. Of course, the site is named after Koroipita. And Peter took me very passionately and showed me all the beehives that they have and the sustainable farming projects that they have. Now, so this model actually is not only providing housing but creating a community, giving people the opportunity to be able to have some land available for agriculture purposes, to have some form of, subsistence. That is really important. When going to that hall a few years ago, we saw how some of the residents here and their children have actually benefited from free education, how they benefited from TELs, benefited from toppers. So they're able to break that cycle of which in their families have been. So whenever we do any sort of policies, we have to look at everything holistically. It's not only about giving people homes or giving them some land, but we have to ensure that they're able to then progress in life. There needs to be what we call social progression. And social progression requires a holistic approach. You need to provide people with education. You need to be able to ensure that you have better roads and connectivity, as was highlighted about mobile phones. People need connectivity. This morning I was at the Intercontinental, very different setting to here, where they had something like close to 30 companies, overseas companies, that are participating in a technology fair. A lot of vendors have come from Australia, from New Zealand, and other parts of the world, from USA, where they're now, essentially marketing themselves to Fiji because they see Fiji as a country that has got a huge technology uptake. And that is critically important. You can send out messages, you can send out cyclone messages. We are now in the cyclone season. The 2 rounds of 360, the 2 rounds of $50, the 1 round of $90 that was disbursed to unemployed people was all paid through the phone. You applied on your mobile phone and you got paid on your mobile phone. These people don't have to go and queue up at some office. They don't have to catch the bus to go and sit outside the DO's office and wait in the hot sun. They sit in the comfort of their homes and they apply and they get paid on the phone. So it's what we call a holistic approach to ensuring that we uplift the quality of people's lives. And that's something that we are holistically committed to. I think the free education plays a very critical role in all of this. The other point that I was just sharing with Vanessa, I've just come back from Lautoka Hospital, where I had the wonderful opportunity of talking to those people who've just had their open heart surgeries. As you know, we've been saying that we'll have open heart surgeries being carried out. That procedure has never been available in Fiji through a public health system. All of those people who actually had the open heart surgeries have done it FOC. They don't pay a single cent. The government provides that particular service. Because again, health is a very critical issue. It's a very personal issue. It's a very sentimental issue, very emotive issue. The same way with housing. Health and housing, access to water, access to electricity. These are the three or four critical issues that we as a government are committed to. So we'd like to thank the trustees, even though some trustees may have changed. They've obviously continued with the good work. They're guided by the Constitution. And we look forward to working together with them. I also like to thank the landowners who agreed to lease the land. Because without, of course, land, you don't have the ability to build homes. And thank you for participating in that. We want to ensure that we pay the right market value for these lands. But what it also does, it increases the value of all the lands that have not been leased around here. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. In the same way, we have been developing Itauke land. The subdivisions are done for free by government. And why do we do it? It's about empowering the landowners to ensure that they have access not only to the asset they have, but they become cash rich. By having the subdivisions done, we have land available for 99-year leases, which means more people get access to leases with security. So then go to the bank and they can build a home, a nice concrete home. Vakavanua arrangements actually is not necessarily very helpful, because people who live in Vakavanua arrangements, they won't build a nice concrete home because they know it's a temporary form of lease. So once they get a 99-year lease, the landowners benefit. They build a nice, resilient concrete home. So next time there's a cyclone, the house does not get blown away. Or less chances of that. And a lot of people over here, in fact, have come here as a result of cyclonic or climatic events. They've lost their homes completely, lived in Vakavanua arrangements, don't have the money to rebuild, and they've come here seeking refuge. So fitting it into the climate change model and what government is trying to do, it fits in very well. So I'd like to thank all those people who participated. I was last time, of course, in the Nassau area, when I see the owner of the nice orchid farm, I forget the name of your outfit, sorry. But there are lot of ladies from Koroipita over there who have, of course, benefited from what she has been doing in a very wonderful manner, where they are learning particular skill sets, providing nursery, capability, etc. So with the, it's a combination of the private sector, of NGOs, of government, of development partners, working together to be able to complement each other and achieve a particular outcome. And that kind of synergy is critically important. So that's what we're here to actually facilitate and to ensure that we continue to do that. So thank you to everybody who've been participating in this, making this a reality, giving ordinary Fijians a sense of dignity, a sense of self-esteem, and we look forward to working together with you in the near future. And once again, thank you to New Zealand. Naga. Thanks.